Hi there, this is Sushrit. This video is second part of the series Conquering the Pre-Sales, which focuses upon breaking down the pre-sales and different functions. If you have not watched the first part, you can check the link in the description box. So let's get started. In this video, you will understand about opportunity cycle, then typical RFP stages, typical pre-sales artifacts, pre-sales deal types, and typical challenges. So let us understand the opportunity cycle. Opportunity is created from the lead. And what is a lead? A lead is a person or a company with whom we can do business and generate revenue for us. As simple as that. So if I have to give you an example, let's say I am a company which sells credit cards. Then all the people who might be potentially interested in purchasing my credit card is a lead for me. If we talk about another example, if I am a company which sells software or services, then all the companies in the market which potentially can buy my software or services from me are my leads. So now let us understand the opportunity cycle in an IT firm. In most of the cases, you will see a lead is generated by two teams. One would be the marketing team and other would be the sales team. Now, marketing team will do certain activities to generate something which is called as marketing qualified leads or MQL. Now, let us understand what are those activities. Those activities could be anything starting from asset creation to cold calling or campaign generation and so on and so forth. As a result of all these activities, marketing team will get a number of leads. Then the team will qualify them internally and thus marketing qualified leads will be generated. Now all the marketing qualified leads, as you might have guessed, might not be worth pursuing from sales angle, and thus the sales team will qualify leads from the MQL, which will then become SQL or sales qualified leads. The other ways how sales team generates the leads are by customer connect and with the help of sales hunters. So net what I wanted to tell you is the process of how we get a list of qualified leads. Now once we have the list of leads, then there will be a lead scoring mechanism based on some parameters, and it's a part of thresholds defined by our organization. All the leads which clear a particular score becomes a real opportunity to pursue. Now, as you might have guessed, again high scoring leads become hot opportunity to pursue, and medium and low scoring leads become warm and cold respectively. Now, once we have understood this part, let us move to the second part. This opportunity that's created can be of two types. One is a reactive opportunity and other is proactive opportunities. Reactive opportunities comes typically from existing customer connect. For example, we are incumbent vendors, that is we are already working there and our customer invites us for new RFP. Or we have a good customer connect and the customer is well aware of our capabilities and invites us to respond to RFP. And then it might also be possible that the customer might have floated RFI, and we have qualified the RFI stage by showing our capabilities and thus has been invited for the RFP. So in all these three ways, reactive opportunities can be generated. For proactive opportunities, as the name suggests, the opportunity is typically created by new customer connect. For example, we might have some sales insights on customer challenges and we pitch the solution. Or we might also have some insights on the IT roadmap that the customer is trying to achieve and we pitch for that. So proactive opportunities can be generated in these two ways. Now, for both of these opportunities that we have seen, proactive and reactive, the sales and pre-sales team will work on it and the deal will get submitted. If we win the deal, the opportunity will be closed and marked as a closed win. Once the opportunity is won, it will go to the delivery team for actual implementation of the requirements. Now, what if we lose the deal? And actually, that typically happens in more than 80 to 85% of the cases. Then the opportunity that we have lost will be closed and it will be marked as a close lost. One of the things to note here is the pre-sales team is involved in some or other work from the start till the opportunity is closed. Now, having understood that, let us double click on RFX to opportunity close stage and understand more about RFP stages. RFP will be received by the sales team and the pre-sales team. The sales team will take a go or no-go decision based on the capability and other parameters. If a deal is a go, the pre-sales lead will create a pursuit plan which will typically contain list of tasks that needs to be done for responding to RFP, owners or stakeholder map to each task, due date, and the current status of the task. All the identified stakeholders will go through the RFP and will jot down their questions and any clarification that needs to be asked from the customer. The pre-sales team will then collect all the questions and will send this to the pursuit lead, who will send this to the customer. Now the customer might respond to the queries over email or can set up a meeting to discuss the clarification. That totally depends on the customer. So parallelly, what will happen? Pre-sales team will work on creating a RFP skeleton, that is more commonly known as creating a storyline. The skeleton normally depends on multiple factors. Some of the factors, if I have to mention here, skeleton will contain all the topics for which the customer has specifically said the response in the RFP. Then the skeleton will also depend on the value of the deal. Then the storyline will depend on our capabilities and the areas mentioned in the RFP. And finally, our past connect with the customer will also influence the skeleton or the storyline of the RFP. RFP response preparation will start, and putting content around the storyline will be done by the pre-sales consultant. Parallelly, solution architects will start working on the solution fitment and the architecture of the solution that will go. And once it is done, the same will be reviewed by the solution owner. Then once that activity is completed, the solution architect will also work on creating a ballpark figure for efforts and timelines, and that will be reviewed by delivery lead or practice lead. And finally, resource allocation or the staffing for the engagement will be created, and that will also be reviewed by the delivery lead or practice lead. So along with the solution timeline implementation approach, there are other sections that will also be a part of response. For example, our understanding of the RFP, commercials or fee structure, our credentials, success story, and so on. Actually, we are anyway going to discuss on this in detail in coming videos. For now, if we understand this much, that should suffice. So let's move on. All these will be packaged in RFP and a draft version will be created by pre-sales team. It will go through multiple rounds of reviews before we finalize the response document that will be submitted to the customer. Then, sometimes customer explicitly will also ask for certain documents which needs to be vetted by the legal team. All those kinds of documents will go through the legal review. Then once all the reviews has been passed, the RFP response will be submitted. Then the customer will go through all the responses and will qualify or disqualify a response. Now suppose we are qualified to the next round. Then the customer might invite us for the orals where we or the vendor will give a walkthrough of the solution, commercials and other aspects of the proposal, and if we have any further clarification, they will clarify from us. And let's say we qualify that round, the customer might negotiate with us on different aspects like commercials or implementation timeline or staffing, where they think that there might be a scope of improvement. Now, if you are a selected vendor, then a deal is closed, and obviously it will be marked as a closed win, and the deal will flow to the delivery team for the actual execution. And as you might have guessed, if we are not selected, however, the opportunity is closed and marked as a closed lost. These two slides is of paramount importance when we talk about pre-sales function and needs to be understood in detail. So now we have a good understanding of RFP stages. Let us move to typical pre-sales artifacts. I will discuss on RFP response artifact, RFI response, and proactive page. So the first one is RFP response document. This document is created for responding to RFP, and typically it will cover executive summary, our solution approach, then implementation approach and plans, then commercials, our credentials, and might contain any other relevant topic that we see as a fit. Second is RFI response document. This document is created when any prospective customer is trying to seek any information about our capabilities. Typically, it will cover company information and credentials, then our practice capabilities, our relevant experience in that area, our success stories that we have done in the past, customer references, and any other relevant topics. Then the third one is the proactive pitch. This is a document which is created to pitch to customer on ad hoc basis, and as the name goes, it is proactive in nature. That means without a formal RFX invitation. Typical documents relevant to proactive pitch are point of views, POCs, GTMs, and others. Please note that we are going to discuss on all of these in detail in coming videos. So for now, if we have a basic idea of all these documents, that should suffice. Let us understand quickly on pre-sales deal types. We now understand that we have reactive and proactive deals on the basis of request types. Let us see what kind of deals are a part of reactive deals and what kind of deals are a part of proactive deals. The reactive deals can further be classified into consulting deals, where we assess the current technical landscape and provide a consulting report to the customer. We typically determine IT strategy and create future IT roadmap for the customer in this type of deals. Then we have implementation deal, where our team of consultants implements the solution as per the customer requirements. Then we have RFIs. RFI requests are mostly floated to collect pre-selection information from vendors to assess their capabilities, so that if that is passed, the vendors can be invited to RFP. Then we have AMS deal, or application management and support deals, that focuses on post-implementation support requests, where our team of support analysts provides services for things like incident management, change request, and minor enhancement requests for all the applications in scope. Then for proactive deals, we create a PoV presentation for the customer to give them a point of view regarding industry trends or solving their current challenges. And then proactive pitch, as I mentioned earlier, where we have some insights about customer roadmap and challenges, and we pitch proactively. Now, on the basis of deal amount, we can have a small size deal, medium size deal, and large size deal. This totally depends on organization to organization how they categorize the small, medium, and large deals. Typically, a small size deal can have value of less than 400k USD. Medium size deal can have something around 400k to say 1 million or 1.2 million, and anything greater than 1.2 million or say 1.5 million is classified as large deals. The key difference between these deals are the content of proposal and how it is run. For small deals, we typically create concise content and probably we interact with limited stakeholders while responding to those deals. For medium deals, we might have multiple stakeholders, so stakeholder collaboration becomes a key here. Then for the large deal, we have might have multiple technology, multiple tasks, and multiple stakeholders, and a lot of content, I would say, goes into the proposal. So efficient and timely management of deliverables is the biggest challenge here. Now, on the basis of domain, deals can be defined as a BFSI deal, media entertainment deal, manufacturing deal, ENU deal, and maybe some other vertical deals. The deal can be domain specific, as we saw here. So if a deal has been brought by BFSI vertical, for example, it becomes a BFSI deal. Mostly then vertical pre-sales team will collaborate with relevant practices and technologies that is required to respond to the RFP. Now, having learned pre-sales deal types, let us quickly talk about typical challenges that we see. The first challenge, I would say, getting the right and the skilled team together for the deal is very important. Then if we get a deal where we are not strong, then we need to qualify it properly. And let's say if we have qualified, we need to bring the right set of skilled people who can help us in content creation. The third one would be responding to a short fuse deal, that is deals which needs to be submitted in short durations. For these deals, we need to reuse the existing content wisely rather than reinventing the wheel and collaborating. And we need to collaborate with the team actively in order to get the response in a timely manner. If we are managing commercials in some of the organizations that we do, and if you see the margin goes below a threshold margin, then we need to make sure that it has been highlighted to appropriate stakeholders and appropriate approvals has been taken before the submission. Then if a deal has a very high probability of win, in some cases, then we may need to interact with relevant stakeholders and communicate them about the win so that resources are mobilized and project can start on time. One of the toughest thing, I would say, that the point number 6, getting customer reference is a very big headache, since most of the customer I have seen might not be willing to provide references. If a customer reference is mandatory criteria for RFP response, then the first thing we should do is we need to make sure relevant stakeholders are aware of it and they are following up with the customer and they are approaching different customers for the same. Then developing the right win themes that resonates with the customer thought process and the roadmap that they have planned is very essential and equally challenging. And finally, working with multiple stakeholders are sometimes challenging and difficult to manage. Now let us recap what we have learned. We have learned about understanding the opportunity cycle, where we talked about MQL and how SQL is generated, then how leads are generated, then the typical cycle from opportunity from RFX to the delivery. We double clicked on RFX to opportunity cycle, where we saw about different RFP stages. Then we talked about Presales Artefact, where we learned about RFP response, then RFI response, then proactive pitch. We saw typical pre-sales deal types on the basis of request type, on the basis of deal amount, and then on the basis of domain. And finally, we saw typical challenges that we foresee while working as a pre-sales consultant. So thank you so much for your time. In the next video, we will double click on RFX and understand more about those. That's all from me. Hope you have enjoyed the session. I will keep practicing, and bye for now.